Okay. Mm-hmm. Studio. Content. Live. This live. Copy. Here. Let me see. Hi, June. How are you doing today? Thanks for joining. All right. So I decided to go with YouTube today. I tried Discord. I can't figure it out why it's not working. I'll have to work that on another time. It's go time now. So yeah, day 2, guys. Hello, BBS. How you doing? I'm gonna go through the work that I saw in the backstage lounge today. I'm gonna start with the work of. Was that you? Someone asked to pass in front because they were. It was very late. Just want to make sure that's the work that I'm covering. Are you with us? It says Axoloti. Axoloti. Is that the? Someone asked me. Sorry. Someone asked me in a group to pass them first because they were on a hurry to go back to bed because it's 2 a.m. for them. And I forgot who it is. Can you tell me who it is? And I'll make sure to pass you first so you can go to sleep. And I appreciate for you to get awake at this time to be live with me. I want to say hi to hello Beth, Bodacious B. Hi guys. So yeah, who was that? I think it was you, Axolot T, isn't it? Axolot T, Axol. So yeah, I think that was it. So I will. Are you there? Let me just tag you. If you're not there, making sure that you're there. Join us right now. So yeah, I'm gonna cover your work, guys. Saw great stuff in the backstage lounge. You guys are dancing really well. We still have, the cool thing about you and I is that now it's not gonna be just 3 days for you guys. It's gonna be 7 days. So we have the rest of the week. We'll be able to work together. We're gonna have only 3 lives, but as you already saw, Isha might see something that I can give feedback on. I'm making a recording out of this and put it in there. So you're gonna keep having some good feedback all week long. Axolot ends with an L. It's the name of an animal. Oh, really? I didn't know that. What animal is this? Gotta make a research now. Axol. How do you pronounce that? Oh, I see. Okay. Pronounce.
Axolotl.
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 Axolotl. So, Axolotl, are you there? Is the question. I don't see you. June, you're June in the Discord, right? June, you probably join. Maybe he's not there. Wait, he had to go. When did he text us? Thank you so much. Yeah, he said you're there. So Axolotl, are you there? Let me know, and I'll start with you. I'm here. Awesome. All right. Cool. Let's do this. So let's put some AC real quick. All right. I think I just closed it. No, that's not open. Okay. So let me make sure that I'm seeing everything here. Some of you are putting a lot of resolution on your work. Some of you are not putting a lot of resolution on their work. I would suggest less, like 2,000 to 3,000 pixels wide. It's perfect for me to be able to give you feedback. So I'm going to give you first feedback on the pose, and then I'm going to give you feedback on the design. So if you're looking at the pose that you chose, first of all, you've been able to add some nice gesture to it. Really enjoy this. That's nice. And on your initial sketch, you have a nice curve here. I like the legs that you went there. That's great. And your torso feels like it's turned a little bit, right? I think your belly button would be a little bit more on the side here. So like you have it's pointing that way, like he's on the side, really. It looks larger than it is because he's got a shirt, but he's actually on the side. And that's the issue that I'm seeing at the end of the design. If you're looking at this, now it feels like he's in front of us, but with his arm like this. It doesn't feel natural at all, right? When in fact, he's supposed to be like this, with his arm like that. And you're seeing the back here, and then some foreshortening for the arm. So you would have to just, unfortunately, redesign it. Or you could change, you can go two ways. You can either redesign the form, as in, sorry, should put that brush higher. Let me do this. Keep using it all the time. Zoop. Let's put it here. It's not a D5, but I use it too much. All right. So you would have to either redesign this to make sure that it's on the side, which means that it's turned a little bit more on the side. Like all of this feels like two front. That middle line here, that's the middle of the chest here. And then you would have like your entire design, which, let's take that for a second. Oops. And zoop, like it's facing this way. It's facing this way. And then you would have like the rest of the design that face that. That's one way to go. But you put so much work on this that now I'm questioning if you should just not kind of move the arms in different position. Maybe you want to take a position and take a picture of yourself, a little bit more front view like your character is, and change the arm position, find something that you like. Those are the two options. But right now it feels like also this arm is too long. This is not enough foreshorten. If you're looking at the hand, although it's fine if you exaggerate it, and if you did on purpose, then great, just keep at it, that's fine. But if you're looking at your reference, that's the difference, right? You have too much difference here. So that's for the pose, okay? Also, especially this way, like this way we can feel like the arm is at the back and it's fine to not draw it. This way, you should be able to see the arm here, some part of the arm that goes on the side that does something here. No matter what it is. Maybe it's holding a spear or something like that. I'm not too sure. But does that make sense? Let me know. I have spent too much time on fix the poses. I didn't even see. I have lost it on the design stage. You know what? It's a common mistake. When you work really intensively in a short term of time, and the OWC is very short. It's a few days only. It's normal to get lost trying to get to the next stage. There's no problem. Just either, like I said, either redo the pose and redo the design, which will take a little bit more time, or readjust the pose here. Take a picture of yourself a little bit more front. Keep the details because, yeah, I'm going to give you some feedback on the details, and I tell you that the details on it is really nice. So what's working here really well, you have some really nice kind of repetition of shapes. You have these kind of shapes here that repeat. Whoops, sorry. That repeat, that's nice. Then you have the same design on the side here. That's very cool. You have the layering on the feet. You have some sort of layering here. That's interesting as well. I like this. It also feels like a centerpiece, so that's interesting. Then you have some nice diversity with like the more round shape in the middle, and then you have some more layering with the pointy sides on it. So I feel like you use the principle of unity and variety really well here. You have the repetition of the cross here. That's interesting. You seem to have the design from this on the hand. Also very cool to have like that repetition here. This almost feels like it's a hand. Is it a hand? No, it cannot be a hand, right? Are you putting a hand in the back? Is that what you're trying to do? His whole thing is sword behind his back. Yeah. But I think its twist doesn't really work. No, it doesn't work. I mean, yeah, technically I think I'm able to do this, but it'd be very uncomfortable, you know? So this is where like having a quick video of you just slightly moving in front of the camera, you know, and finding your gesture with your arms in a way, and then snap that shot and then use it to replace it. It's not a huge issue. You're just gonna have to redo the sword, probably placing on the other side, I think, and everything else is pretty close to work. Maybe this one will have to be a little bit more foreshortened, so you have like just a little bit less in front of you. So you'll have like probably like something like that, I guess. You'll have the shoulder, that bulge here, and then you'll have the forearm maybe in front of the face. You'll have to see that's where like you need to check, because step one, take the camera, try to see if you can fix that pose by moving the arm. Okay, if you find something that you like, perfect. Just move the arm, move this arm, and keep everything else. That's the first thing. If you're realizing that the pose, like either your arm is in front of your face or you don't like what it is, you're not able to add it, then I would just go back to one step and you would have to redesign the design of it. It's not a big deal. You'll learn a ton from it. But those are the two options. The chest is a bit, where the elude wings shapes too. I don't know what you mean by that. I guess that's the wing right here, you mean, right? Yeah, okay. The wing here, which, is that the wing or is that the hair? Is that hair or is that the wing? Because there's a transition here, like to me it looked like it was the hair. So I would detach that, like to have like the wing start like this maybe, you know? And have like a difference between the two of them. But if it's her hair and you have the wing, then I would try to have the wing goes a little bit further out. So you have a clear distinction between where the wings start and the hair that goes at the back, kind of thing. Does that make sense? And hair behind it. Okay, yeah, exactly. So I would do this, and then you had like the feathers like this. Also, when you're gonna add the colors, make sure that the two have enough contrast. On my design, I decided to put the hair blonde and yellow, and the wing was white. The two of them, if they're placed on top of each other, sometimes the contrast is not going to be high enough and you're going to lose it. I'll be able to talk about this when you start putting colors, but just as a reminder, make sure that if she has the blonde hair, the wing could be slightly darker, for example. Johnny said, I think Axel is talking about the shape coming from the center of the chest plate as well, maybe. I don't think that too. So it kind of elude the feather shape. So you mean this? Is that what you mean? These shapes that are like kind of like repeating of those shapes? Is that what you're saying? You're making a repetition of these and these? Let me know. But even if it's the case, I think, except if these are feathers, then again, I would personally not go with that if that's what you're trying to do, because the idea is to, I think, create a little bit of contrast here. The wing should stand probably by itself. It would be weird anyway to have something on your chest that's like kind of part of the wing. Personally, not trying to design your design. I think this should be fitting with the armor. That's going to create some harmony, I'm looking for the word here. In here, some harmony, yes. And the contrast would come from other elements, kind of thing. Does that make sense? See, yes, I think we have a little delay, so I'm going to wait a second. But those are the comments that I have. Let me know if you have more questions about this. I think you have already plenty to work on. Don't feel deflated. It's totally normal to sometimes get into your work and go to the next stage and then realize, whoops, we went a little bit too fast on it. It's perfectly normal. Teach the motif of the design and not the actual piece of the wings, right? Yeah. All right, cool. Perfect. So yeah, let me know if you have any more questions about this. Otherwise, I think you're doing a great job. And post your work in the community. As soon as you have something, I'll give you some feedback on it as soon as I can. But it's late for you, I know, so maybe go sleep on it, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Great work today. Keep it up. Next work of Behave Funky. First of all, I want to congratulate. I think it's Jamie that helped you to create the pose, right? Did not start to work with. Thank you. I'm going back to sleep. All right, cool. Have a good night of sleep. Thanks for waking up for us. Ciao, ciao. Absolutely great to see you guys working on finding the gesture for this character. Absolutely cool. So we have three kind of like design that are kind of similar here, but they all work very well, I think. So if we break them down a little bit to see what's working here. We have the flowing lines here. We have a lot of flow lines, and these flow lines that you have everywhere basically helps us to unify the design. So that's working really well. The belt here you kind of use as an element of contrast here. That's working pretty well. Same thing with the boots, a little bit more shapes in those boots. So that's working also pretty well. So we have like a flowy dress that unifies the design, or flowing, jacket. And then we have like the belt that's a little bit more squarish. The boots are a little bit more squarish. I like that even the hat works well. An idea here would be to maybe even have the feather kind of like, be like gigantic and more like flowy that feels with this. Just a suggestion for me. You could play with the beard to have like either like a square kind of like beard shape, kind of, to kind of bring back some attention. It doesn't have to be perfectly square. What I'm trying to get at is having just a different shape for the beard to help us to bring attention to it could be interesting, because the hair seems to be flowy like the rest of the design, but maybe if you have the beard a little bit more squarish to the jaw, I would go find some references to find something that work here. You could have something that brings contrast also to the face, which will help with what I should say. Thank you, Jamie. Absolutely. That would help with the contrast. So that's what I have to say about that one. When it comes to the second one, here we have a little bit less contrast, a little bit less diversity into the design, because we have the belt that is kind of flowy, although I like the twisting of the two here. That's kind of cool. Even the boots here are kind of flowy, it's like a flowy kind of fabric. And then you have the head that has a little bit of contrast. So maybe, just maybe, this one is more unified and has less variety right now. That being said, the variety could be added with the colors later, and that wouldn't be a problem. So just a note on this. This one feels a little bit more unified. This one has a little bit more of hard shapes, flowy shapes, which brings a little bit more attention to the design. And then we have this one. So for this one, this detail is very interesting. Adding the shirts that are broken down. Matter of fact, if you're doing this, maybe I would try to add either some sort of sign of like having a little bit more of broken parts on the top of the design. Could be interesting. Just to feel like, all right, so this is a little bit more unified. You have like kind of a scarf here, and then for the scarf, probably what I would try to do is to find an element to have some variety. You went for like a flow thing, so I like the idea of the flow thing. It could be just like just even more flowy kind of thing. And it's like a scarf of some sort that's like attached to him, right? Something like that. So it just feels like something very different than the rest of the design, essentially. And for the boots, I like the design of that dagger here. That's very interesting. And then you have like kind of like the sleeves that are like close by, which is really cool. Maybe you could add, like, you see, like I don't know if that's like suppose that would be like a stripe t-shirt. Maybe you have stripe socks that comes out of the boots that could like unify a little bit those two designs together. Yeah, those are the comments that I have about this. Maybe try to also for like the three, like it's always also a good practice when you start having like three designs like this. Especially if you were to work with a team, they will want to see like iteration of the design. Try to change everything then. So we have, you know, one flowy feather. Maybe we have one that's like a little bit more like pointy on the top. And maybe we have, I don't know, a flower of some sort, right? Just trying to have like a different iteration. Same thing with the hair. Maybe this one has like a swirl like this, and it's like closer on the hat. It doesn't go outside. Just try a few different things. This way, it gives just a little bit more variety, and then you can pick up the design that you like. These will work almost as accent in the design when you think about it. Then you can see if you want to repeat some of the things, but sometimes having that one thing, especially close to the face, will attract the eyes of the viewer towards your focal point. Works really well. So yeah, great work with it all, BF Funky. Thanks for sharing. There's battle slash. All right. I'm glad that you liked the feedback. All right, next. Donkey. So I was really interested to see how you went with a very foreshortening poses, but there's something to it. I gotta say, I like the contrast between the very, very big hand and then the rest of the design. Maybe let me just try that real quick. Maybe the spear needs to be smaller. Doesn't have to, but I just want to test it out. Because with the foreshortening like this, it just feels kind of like out of place right now. Just a little bit. Let's just see that. See what's better, this or this. I think personally this is better. You take your decision. I understand why you put it big. The weapon is important. But within this perspective, you have the hand that's very close. You're welcome. Was that Funky? You guys have different names. Yes, Funky. You're welcome. You have the hand that's very close, and then you have the spear that's very far. So to keep on that foreshortening kind of perspective, having the spear smaller, I think works better. You take the decision though. When it comes to the design of the outfit, first of all, I love that it's a night priest because I didn't do a lot of them. So it's exciting for me to see the design that are going to come up. I like the mix of the sandals. There's something very urban to it, very anime to it. I really like. I like the kind of like I'm gonna say Asian because I don't know if it's Japanese or Chinese or some other culture, but I really like the sandals here. I like that the small design here. I don't know if it's tattoos or just even something like looks like almost like hieroglyphs. It's really cool. The pants are very nice as well. I'm just trying to see where can we add some repetition to it. We have a piece of metal here, and probably my thinking is where can we add just a little bit more metal to kind of add this. And maybe I would make a research for it, but maybe, you know, there's in the medieval time they have like it's like a chain jacket, cut de maille in French. I'm not sure how it's called in English. So maybe you have like a piece of it somehow designed. You have a little bit of a pointy shape here on the helmet. So maybe you could design a kind of cut de maille pointy shape that kind of goes here. That would contrast the design here, and you would have like kind of a little bit of a texture here. That could repeat the metal. Maybe there is an amulet of some sort. Take a different color. An amulet of some sort. Maybe as a triangle, maybe as a circle. I'm not quite sure. Maybe a triangle actually. Maybe it looks too much like a crutch, but let's just play with it here. Something that could add here on top of the design to add just a piece more of the armor, so we have some repetition of like metal on it. Because I'm assuming that this is going to be fabric, this is going to be fabric, all of this is going to be fabric. This might be metal as well, so it could be interesting, or leather. It's probably this is leather, maybe this is metal, but they could be both leather. And then you have the rest of the body here. So that's my 2 cents about it. Maybe there's also like the repetition of these. These are so cool. Maybe there's a repetition of it somewhere. Maybe there's like the same signs on the shoulder pads. Could be interesting. Something to test about. In terms of the weapon, you have a very pointy hat here. My thinking is probably that the blade could get their origin from this, and instead of having like straight, it would be like more with like a curve like this, so it feels a little bit more pointy, so it feels with the design. Probably I would do the same thing here. Feels with the design a little bit more of the hat or helmet, I mean. Repeating those. Really trying to think about all the different shape design that you have that can be repeated. You have like the handle, for example, here that kind of does that. And I'm not sure if these cross contour lines were for your silhouette or for the design, but this could be easily repeated. You could have like almost like a tone on tone, so almost like no contrast, but just a little bit of contrast, I guess, with this. That's something I would try to test and see if it works. Yeah, those are the things that I'm doing. You have this kind of like floppy belt here, and this could be kind of like the same kind of design as well. Maybe you put two. Could be interesting. Those are suggestions, but overall, really like the design. Let me know if you have any question about this one. If you are not live with us, then you can always post your work and your questions in the Backstage Lounge. You can tag my name. I'm there every day. Don't be shy. Great work and keep it up. Next, we have Jamie. Beautiful work here. Jamie, you went in color already. We're starting tomorrow, but I like the color that you have so far. Chainmail. Thank you, Bodacious. Chainmail. That's how it's called. So, really love the beard. Absolutely amazing. It's a really nice element. Let me kind of deconstruct this. So we have some fur there. The fur is almost the same color as the skin. I'd be conscious of that. The contrast not being very, very big here. It feels like they're part of the same thing. So just something to be aware of. We have the greens that kind of repeat here and there that are very close to this. And my thinking is, if you didn't have those, my thinking is if you want the scepter to stand a lot, I would keep the green just for the scepter. But if you want to harmonize the design, then I would add even more green to the character. These are really nice accent, but maybe I would have the entire jacket green. I would try that at the very least, just to see how it looks. I'm gonna go over the design in lines just to see, although it's easier to read in color. So we have the fur here. It doesn't repeat anywhere. It attracts the attention a lot, and I think it's a good thing because it's an element that stands out. The beard is kind of the same thing, and I love that you did that because it really helps to bring the focal point to the head, so that works really well. I'd say that somehow, I don't know why for me, but I feel like these shapes here, it's not working with the rest of the design. Everything looks very organic, flowy, and even though, yes, it creates contrast, I feel like it's creating just a contrast. The contrast by the color is already there. So I would probably try to kind of harmonize the shape a little bit more. There's the round head. There is something flowy about it with the long lines. It's a very long character. I don't know. I feel like maybe, let me put on a layer. Maybe I would try different shapes and probably having like a longer what is that, crystal could work better maybe. That's an idea there. Just a suggestion. So that's one thing. I really like the design. There's not much I'm trying to see what I would change into it. The patchwork here, that's worked really well. The boots and the belts are going well together. That blue is working. I feel like maybe, like I was saying, if you want to unify the design a little bit more, I would either try to have this blue here, and then you have this, or this green a little bit more here. Let me just try to see if I can use a color adjustment layer. Take that green and just kind of like, let me just pick that up real quick. Like it doesn't have to be exactly the same, but just this already feels a little bit more harmonious. Because there's such a big contrast between that blue and the gem or the crystal being so big. It's either I would do this or I would do the opposite. Put this to color and see if that, just to harmonize it a little bit more. Personal preferences at this point. You decide if you want to have more contrast on it or less contrast on it. Personally, I would like to see them a little bit more harmonized. The decision is yours. Great concept, otherwise, not much more to say. I think the clothing is well done. The design, I'll say this, it's missing a little bit of contrast, but that can be fixed later with colors. I'll teach about this actually today in the class. Well, tomorrow for most of you, but for me, later on today for the third day class. So don't do that anything about this, but it's missing a little bit of contrast. You'll be able to fix that later on. All right, great work, and thanks for sharing. Malkav. All right, so great design here. Malkav, when I'm looking at this though, it still feels like the anatomy feels a little strange. Like we're losing that shape here that you had here. You know, that swoop, right? It's very important. Here we have this. It feels bulky, where in fact that muscle should be just kind of like, let me just put that lower. Should feel like a little bit more inside, and then having that curve here, and then something like that. It's going to elongate the character also a little bit more. The position of the arm still feels a little out of place. I would really try to have, like, I don't know if you did it already, but have like a position on the video, move like this from side to side, try to see it. Just the motion of the video will tell you, like, all right, so maybe like there's a foreshortening somewhere that's not working. I like the design of this one with the toe. It's very cool, but can you tell me what's the problem? I'll give a second for people to answer this one. There's a problem here. Can you guys let me know what it is? I'll wait for the delay. Hopefully it's not 5 minutes delay. I'll just shoot it now. The toe is at the wrong place. You have 2 right foot on that character. So it looks very good. It's just, that big toe is supposed to be here. Right foot, toe on left foot, exactly. But I love the design of this. I like the changing this. I'll say this though. What was nice about this one is it's pointing like a ballerina, and it really helps. Even though you had more definition to the foot here, it doesn't feel as elongated. Like I would try to have it point just a lot more. You know? And with that being said, longer leg as well. That's feeling a little bit better to me. So there's that to be added. Here to design this piece of metal right there kind of feels like it's not working. Let's see if I can fix that. I feel like, because you have your foot here, right? And that plate should go like this. Then you're gonna have that smaller plate, but you would probably have like a transition plate of some sort. Something like that. So it feels like the feet is not broken somehow, if that makes sense. You have like kind of the transition plate here, I understand that, but this here doesn't feel the same, and it's probably because of the perspective. You would probably have, looking at that now, these are pointing up, maybe that's why. You would still have this kind of pointing up. Just more foreshortening, maybe. I don't know, that's a tough one. even for me, I would have to like do a few tests, try to figure it out. The construction of that piece right there. But it feels broken the way it is right now. It feels like one piece. It doesn't feel like you have the foot that goes like that. It feels like you have just like one line. Let me know if that makes sense. I would just try to have either a definition of that transition plane. It's got 1, 2, 1, 2. Then you have this one here. So it's this one here. Yeah. It's this one here that is not working. So it's going there. And then you would have essentially like a transition plate here that's supposed to go higher. I don't know, something is broken here. Tough one. Very tough one. But something needs to be done here. Try a few things, see what works. I'll try to help you after you do the sketch, but like it's just a perspective. I would have to spend more time on it. So those are the things that I'm seeing right here. In terms of like the rest of the design, I like the repetition of the elements that you have for the variety and unity. No, I'll put the brush here. So you have the circles that repeats. That's great. The 3 arrows like this add some repetition to it all. That's great. The layering on these work well. Add some repetition as well. A small element here. That's super cool. I'm seeing if there's things that can be like duplicated as we go. The foot also looks a little bit small. I'll say that now. Yeah, no, I think for the rest of the design, I really like the design. I think it's more like perspective issues, foreshortening issues on this one. It's a very tough one. But you're there at 80%. I don't want to make it sound like there's a lot to be changed. Just small tweaks. This plate is definitely a puzzle to be solved. And just a little bit of the anatomy of the arm. The rest looks pretty good to me. So great work, and thanks for sharing. Next, we have the work of Gloria. Gloria, this is looking absolutely great. So now you were telling me that you have it's like a cape made of, it's a coat made of roots. Is that what you were saying? And that's great then. I'll absolutely like it. I would try to have it in the right perspective. It's probably going there and there kind of thing. If it's like a coat made of roots, that's interesting. That being said, I'd be still kind of like worried that if you add that coat, it's going to fight with the silhouette of your character. So just be careful of that. I would try to build it into 2 layers at the very least. I would have the silhouette of your character with the branch here, that's fine. And then adding the coat of roots on another layer kind of thing. Because you might have to play with the value of that design to make sure that there's a contrast into it. So having on a separate layer is going to help you a lot. Being the Wood Guardians, most of the Wood Guardians will have the same kind of material. There's a lot of unity from the start, but I love the small details that you add. Those wings, they're just so cool, super cool. Love that. My thinking is there a way for us to make some repetition? And I think there is. You could, only suggestion, you could have a bird in the scene. Actually, not just one bird. It would make it too important. I would at least 3 birds. I did that on mine, actually. You can definitely take the same idea with those wings. You could have just a small bird on one of those branches. Maybe there's one that is, like, I don't know, flying in the air right here. Maybe there's another one that is flying in the background here. Just those three would add just like a sense of like feathering into the place that could work. These are interesting. I'm not sure what they are. Are you with me? I guess you're not with me. I don't know what they are, but if they are just an element, that's great. If they are part of the wood, then this shape, here's the reasoning. If this is a different element made of a different material, then it creates contrast, and that's great. If it's the same material as the red of the body, made of like wood or something like that, then it feels like a different part of the body, but it's not. And that might be confusing in the design. So either make sure that this is a different element that will bring a contrast, or try to bring back these kind of swoop and swirls to other places. My thinking would be like this should be a different element, personally. June says, I love how unique and dark this design is. Super different from the friendlier Groot style design most people turn for the Wood Guardian. I agree, absolutely agree. It's really, really cool. So yeah, those are the things that I'm seeing on this one. Otherwise, just great start. You're definitely like, you're there. You could start your rendering with this. So really, really great stuff. Looking forward to see it render. And thanks for sharing. Alan, let me put that smaller, Alan. Alan, there's a cool vibe to it. It feels a little bit like a, I don't know, I think 60, 70 vibe, kind of like cartoon Marvel style, I think, with a very thick line, the very bold design of it all. I could try to dissect this one and add some repetition, but there's something very cool and very unique about the simplicity of it. I don't know if it was on purpose, but it really works well for me. I really like there's just enough repetition to make it just enough kind of thing. Like you have like these two swirls here that gives a little bit of repetition. Obviously these right there, that's a nice, it's a unity and variety within an accessory, right? So you have the unity from the repetition of the circles, and then you have the diversity because it's a design that cuts the entire body dress into two shapes. And then you have the uniqueness of the crown. This is super interesting. I think it really works well as is, to be honest. I'm trying to see where you could have some repetition because it's such a bold and stylized design. Things like even like the sleeve and the way they're placed, these two shapes repeat. So it gives you some repetition there. Obviously, the two boots that are also like almost like side by side in the same like kind of like fashion create some repetition. So here's the cool thing about this. Because this one, again, I don't know if it was on purpose or not, because this one is a little bit more like on the cartoony style, less realistic in terms of, just less realistic, really. There's elements like just the boots that bring back some repetition. Now, for the anatomy, you can tell that there's a problem with the knees though. So you have your hips here that are kind of here, and you have like one leg there, and you should have like something as long as this one, right? So try to just kind of like have some measurements here. If that's your knee and that's your knee, boots might have to be replaced here, a little bit. And this one should be moved lower, and then you would have like your thing here. So they're not placed at the same place. Let me take out the line so it's a little bit more. You can tell that the buttocks is here. That's the hips part, and then the leg is shorter here than it is here. So I would just be careful of this. The rest works really well. So yeah, just great work. Thanks for sharing, Alan. Next is June. June, sorry. Should have passed people are like in the chat with me before. Great design. I'll say this. Now that you have a lot of design, I would try to choose one and then stick to this one. because especially when you're going to start rendering, this is going to take a lot of time. So I like that you actually push these 4 designs up to this stage. Now it's probably time for you to make a decision. I'm just going to manage, look for this review, if you would. Yes, let me go pick it up. Let me pick it up. Oh, Jamie, you already made the correction. I see that. They're beautiful. All right, awesome. This is looking great. Copy and paste. All right, so let me put that away. First of all, I love the attention of details and the work you put in this. This looked great. Really, really cool. I love to have that sheet here. It's very, very nice. So you put even the motives of all of these that repeat and everything. So that's really, really cool. Tell me, which one do you think you're going to go with? Are you going to go with the design number 1? You did like 4 iterations. Is that because that's the design you want to go through? Let me know. Yeah, let me know, because I'm going to cover the one that you think you're going to go with. Elven fantasy style jewelry, roses and thorns, and flowing triangles. That's very cool. I'm gonna wait for you to answer. Some delay. See, I'm not sure. I will do a few more of each before I decide which is best for rendering. If you look at the first and give your opinion on that, would be helpful. All right, I'll do that. So here, I'll start by telling you which of the character I think is best. I think the first that I like the best, the 2 best is the number 1. I think that's definitely one of my best, and the number 2. What I like about the number 2 is there's a lot of movement into it. But there's something very interesting about this. So if you were to go with the first one, let's look at something here. So can you tell me what's the problem here? I'm not going to wait for you to answer. I'm going to say it because we have such a delay. You see that you have like floating hair here, and you have floating dress here in 2 different directions. So I love the idea of showing that there's wind, but then everything else in your composition should follow that kind of same thing. Now, we could debate that, all right, maybe there's like a wave of like wind that's like a little bit like in all direction that just lifts up everything together. Yes, absolutely. But maybe that you could try at the very least to see if you were to have the hair, maybe I think, in the other direction. I'm gonna just take that out for now, and see if having this helps with feeling like there's like something else. If you don't like it, absolutely fine. Also, I feel like now that I'm doing it, it brings a little bit of a balance in the composition. So that could be also a good thing to have. But I wanted to precise that because being intentional with those things is always a good thing. So take the decision from there. So that's one thing that I'm seeing. And here you have like 4 different designs. This is really cool, by the way. If you're working with clients, having these kind of diversity will really, really help, especially if you can do these kind of works really fast, especially at the beginning of a project, for example, when you're doing a lot of iteration to find the direction. It's going to be really, really good for you to do so. So just congratulations on taking this part very seriously. Repetition on all of these, there's a lot of it. You have these triangular shapes here that repeat. That really helps. And then we have the gem that it's obviously a diamond with these shapes again. All of these points really helps with the design. You have the repetition on the forehead of that gem. That looks very good. To push even more, although the contrast here of the round, it works, but you could have tried to see like if you can even like break that down into like something even more angular. Like it's breaking really like with the wind in a weird kind of like very harsh way. I'm just testing something here. But that could be like one thing you could try to see if you can keep up this this really harsh design of triangle for this particular one. Even maybe having like something like broken a little bit here. I don't know, just some ideas that could be explored. So that's one thing, maybe, just to make sure that the design feels like almost a little bit more pointy on this one. And then here you could keep that wave and then just add a little bit more of that wave here by having just maybe like maybe this over one is a little bit more wavy maybe. Then you have another wave here, you have those two waves there. That could be interesting to see. Playing with the shapes a little bit more. Just making sure that like each of them has his very distinct flavor. So those are ideas that I can see that could be pushed. Here the design of these swirled in roses, it's great. I would push it even more then. Changing maybe the jewel to have maybe some like just a different design. Try to have like it looks like fire. It's not exactly what I want to do. What I'm trying to do is more like a gem with like spikes on it almost, but like design in a way that it looks like it's a crystal still. That could be interesting, like to push the idea of thorns, the roses and thorns. Maybe having a metal, like a golden metal rose thorn bracelet that kind of goes around her arm and hand could help. And then maybe have a repetition. You had kind of like thing here, but it doesn't really feel like thorn. Then again, I don't want to tell you how to design stuff, but this is just my input on it. You can decide of the kind of shapes that you want to have. But having like the same kind of design repeating here with the kind of thorn, I would see that as being like a golden jewelry of some sort. Could be interesting. And then you have the roses here that repeat. That's good. And the repetition here is good as well. Lots of repetition here with the roses. Maybe a little bit too much. It becomes almost like a pattern. Yeah, I think this one for me, like I would keep the roses as being accent maybe, because now you have a fight between the diamonds that you have, like 1 diamond, 2 diamonds. Well, there's only 3, but still, because these kind of look also like diamonds. And then you have the roses that repeats. It's just kind of like these two are kind of like equally fighting for the attention at this point, where the rest of the other design, the jewelry, especially like the gems, they feel like they're unique kind of shape. Instead of having like 2 repetitions. Does that make sense? Like you have a lot of repetition of roses and then you have a lot of repetition of diamonds, where here you have like just a few diamonds and they're like unique. The rest of the design is on its own kind of thing. So it also creates just more importance on the gem itself, because it's a big part in the brief. She has that gem in her neck that's supposed to be magical, right? And here's the thing that's very important to know. In any composition, I'll put like like here. In any composition, if you put one character, right, Just put like a stick figure, one character. That character becomes very, very important. And then if you put like something like a bird I was talking earlier, right? You put like one bird, that bird becomes very important as well. But if you put 3 birds, now suddenly this guy is super important and these are second role players kind of thing. That's the same kind of principle here. We're trying to make for this one, we're trying to make one of them to be second role player, but they're both fighting at the same level. So you want to have less of one, more of the other one, to create like one is more important than the other one, if that makes sense. The great feedback. All right, you're absolutely welcome. Great work, really just amazing work. Love the sheet. Keep up the good work. And thanks for sharing. Shay, love this. Shay, you shared this, and then you also shared your, let me just go check. You also shared your mood board, I think. I saw that pass at some point. Let me just go check. Yes. Let me bring your mood board here. You know what? I'm gonna try to have it into its own window on the side, and then have you here. Okay. So, Shay, first of all, beautiful design. I really like it. There's a simplicity of it that also works really well. My thinking is maybe we can try to add just a little bit more of oomph in a design, and sometimes just like adding just a few different lines and stuff like that. So I feel like, how would I approach this? I feel like having, my son is coming. I might have to say hi to him in a second, just letting you guys know. Yeah, give me a second, guys. Salut mon beau. You recording? Yeah, we're live. Salut mon beau. Tu vas faire un petit dodo? Allez, je t'aime. Bisous. Bye bye. Bye bye. He's the cutest. All right, so it could be like to add just even like just a second line here. Small designs that you could have like a difference between red and deep red, for example. This will just add a little bit more of something to look at. Looking at the design that you have like this like overcoat here. Then again, I don't want to confuse anybody. I told people in the video, and I believe in this, to not put too many details. Sometimes you're gonna paint over it anyway. But in some cases, having an idea, a clear idea. So if you already have an idea of where you want to go from there and render it later, then disregard what I'm saying. But otherwise, having just an idea of where you want to go on the sketch can also help. Adding some repetition of like shapes here could be interesting. Just to add just a little bit more of detail within the detail kind of thing. Here, the necklace here, the problem with this necklace is you already have the V that attracts the eye. So you don't have to actually add something to attract the eye here. So I would personally, move this necklace higher, like she has it, for example. If you want to keep it round, that's okay. Because this way, these two don't fight, kind of thing. So that's my thinking about this. For the rest, I think this is really, really well done. And thanks for sharing. Next, we have the work of Cherry. Cherry, you send me a few things. Cherry, you're the person that, unfortunately, you give me things with very low resolution. So I'm going to have to put them big, and it'll be like pixelated maybe a little bit. Next time, don't put it super large, but like I was saying, anything between 2,000 and 3,000 pixels is perfect. Um, so we have your, whoops, there we go. We have your design, we have your mood board here that I wanted to bring and just have a look at it. Put it down for now. We have your sketches here. Love the sketch. I like your organic, gestural, scratchy kind of look of it. I truly really like it. I think it looks very good. And when it comes to the design is going well. I think it's a little bit busy for me. It's hard to understand what's on top of each other. There's different colors. This is all good, but just a comment, if you were to work with a team, this looks just, it's harder to read. We have a design with different colors here. It makes it really busy and hard. I would try to simplify a little bit the sketch. Just a note. The design itself, otherwise, for what I'm seeing, works well. It's just hard to understand. So I guess she has a coat of fur here. So we'll have like a nice way to contrast. Whoops, I think I'm at the wrong place. A nice way to contrast what's happening at the back with the head. So that's going to be good. It's going to bring in some contrast toward the face. We like that. I think the hand going back up also is just a great way to add some direction lines towards the face. Also a great way to bring back the attention towards the face. Just going to touch her like necklace from what I'm seeing. So that's cool. Yeah, from what I'm seeing, there's all the elements that are needed. Again, a little busy right now. If you could simplify it for the next stage, that would be absolutely useful. This is kind of sitting at the back of the head right now, which that's kind of weird. I don't think you would have an overlap like this of your head for the crown. The crown would go at least a little bit on the head, right? And it would go in front of it. So I would modify that. It's either that or you put it like in an angle at the back like this. And if you're doing this, then you wouldn't see the inside like this because of the perspective. You would only see the front of it. And then we can debate that this is working at this point. Those are the comments I have for this one. We'll have to see when you clean up this, what kind of details you can add on this. It could be patterns added on top of it or things like that. Right now, I'm having just a hard time seeing the details, but it's going in the right direction. So keep it up. Post your work whenever you're ready. I'll give you some more feedback when you have it in the community. Thanks for sharing. I think that was yours too. Turdian. Tudine, are you with us? Did I make you wait all that time? Jesus, I'm so sorry, guys. Next time, I'll make sure that people are in there. Maybe you're not. Well, if you are, I'm sorry to have made you wait. Turdian, this is looking cool, man. I really like this. There's a real vibe of like, I'm not gonna pretend I know the century, but it's like, is it Baroque? No, it's not Baroque. Is it Baroque? I think it's Baroque, the style. Someone tells me. Turdian, you're there. I'm so sorry, man. I made you wait all that time. I'll make sure next time to bring people that are in the chat with me up front. Love the style here. I think it's Baroque that it is, right? With all the little frou-frou and stuff. Super, super cool. I really like this. There is some nice big shape design. I like the contrast here with the top of the dress. That's super cool. Some very cool lines. The repetition of these shapes here are super interesting as well. All of this works really well. And then you have these kind of like frou-frou thing. Big shape also work. Just you apply all the different things that I was talking in the video and just made it really obvious into very cool design. So it's really nice. Note ahead, with all these folds and stuff, you might have a bit of a hard time rendering, okay? And I want you to accept it because I don't want you to over-rendering. I think this is the kind of design that if you keep loose a little bit while you're doing the rendering, you'll understand a little bit more what I'm showing the course tomorrow. Keep it a little bit more looser. Don't try to over-render it. Don't try to make it ultra-realistic. because I think there's going to be a feeling like the edges of your dress can feel a little softer if you're placing a little bit of the shadows and light at the right places loosely. It's already going to look good, and then you'll be able to add some contrast and sharpness with occlusion shadows only. And I'm going to try to help you with this during the week. But just a note ahead, when you're going to see the steps for the next video, we're going to go through local colors, hue shift, then we're going to do the shadow. When you're going to do the shadow, do big shape shadow, okay? Big shape shadow, don't go into too much details. Then add the big shape light. And then after that, I'll try to give you some more guidance because I think we can do something very cool with this one. It's like a little bit more loose. Beth, you're absolutely welcome for the design. So sorry guys, I'm realizing that most of you guys were at the end. Let me figure out from you mentioned. All right, cool. June, as also as your render some fancy fabric in previous project. Good luck here, absolutely. And Victor, hey David, if you still have time tonight, I uploaded my gestural sketch and my mood board. I absolutely have the time. I will go fetch it out right after this. So that's my thinking about this. So it works really well here. It's going to be interesting to see the colors that you designed to have to bring the unity and harmony here. I don't think it's going to be difficult at all. I think you have all the right elements. So just congrats on it. I'll say this, the head feels like the shape is kind of weird. Not so much the head, but the head with the hair. Maybe there's a little bit of work here to be done. I think it's the hair, the problem. So you would have like your head here and your chin here, and you have your neck here. All of that's working fine. You have your head and you can design all of this. Maybe my head is a bit big here, but bear with me. Let's put that smaller. Maybe try to have just different haircuts. Try a few things, okay? Side homework for you. Try to have at least 2 haircuts, okay? So design the face. Make sure that the proportions are working well for you. Base your design on the Andrew Loomis and Azaro head for this. So like having like the side of the Azaro head. Sorry, that's the Loomis. I mean, with like the line work here, and then you have your ears at the back here, and then you have your jaw. So basic head essentially. Put your facial features on this, and then design at least 2 haircuts. And try to have something that works well. Right now, this just feels like a light bulb. It's not working for me. I think I would just push it a little bit more. I don't want to be too harsh, but you got such great design. I know you're able to do something better. Yes, the color does get in there. And that's the thing, like you have that color here, so you need something to contrast it a little bit more. Try to look for like, maybe I would try to keep it like a little bit more modern, and try for like urban, modern, baroque hairstyle. I don't know, something like that. Try to a few different words on Pinterest, see what comes out of it. June says maybe buns hair. I think also it could be a good way, going with like big shapes. Try some stuff. I don't know. There's so many haircuts in there. I just feel like that's the piece lacking to the design. It's also going to bring a little bit more attention towards the head, which is still important here in the design. All right, great work. Thanks for sharing. BBS, this is looking great. I love the broken wing here. That's super cool. Maybe I would try to have like a piece of the other wing here that's like broken even more, maybe, just to see like it's cut. Suggestion. The problem that I'm seeing the most here is the torso, the body. Super long, too long, especially the hips part. That's too long. Now, maybe this is because you have like a design kind of thing, and then you have maybe your hips that's here, but then your leg here tells me that it's not going at the right place. I come like this. So try to redesign your legs here to go back to like your hips. So you have, let's say, your hips about here. right? You have your leg here, that's one leg, and that's another leg, right? So design that under it and make sure that they follow through, okay? Once you understand once you understand what's under it, where's your crutch, you know, then go back and design whatever you want on it to replace your legs. Because I think the main issue is just your legs kind of shows like it's pointing like in two different directions here. It makes everything a little bit more crooked. But otherwise, the big shapes are there. You'll be able to add some nice design within the rendering. Maybe, I see there's a design here. Maybe this design needs to be repeated somewhere. It could be repeated. It could be repeated on the shoulders, maybe. You know, on both sides. It could be even repeated here on both sides. Some repetition that can be added here. I'm questioning this foot and this foot, like having I would try to duplicate, just straight up duplicate that leg. Make a copy, whoops, sorry. Flip it, put it on the other side. So they're facing the same way. I think that would be better. And these are my comments. Great work, keep it up, looking forward to the next step. And Victor, let me go check what you have posted. Wait. Victor, where are you? Victor, I'm seeing your mood board. Okay, there you go. Your sketch is there. This is the progress so far. Okay, let's bring that here. Whoops, wrong thing. Copy, paste. Super cool. Love the perspective of it all. Let me go check your mood board just to see if the reference is in there, but I don't see it for the pose. But you got some really cool design in there. I don't see any design in there. Thank you. You're welcome, BBS. Victor, if you're with me, do you have the reference for this? And what did you say about that? Yes. So the mood board is perfect, and the sketch looks great. I'm assuming you're a day behind, so you haven't done your custom design, which is not a problem. We have all week together, but just let me know if that's the case. The perspective looks great, really. I really like what you have right there. If you pass on to me the reference, I'll be able to maybe be a little bit more pointy about certain area, but the anatomy seems fine to me. There's a very nice foreshortening on this that looks really cool. I like the camera angle. It feels maybe a slightly bit unbalanced. Super, super easy fix. Just, I think if it was like this, it'd be better. And maybe opening the leg just slightly more, maybe. Feels a little bit more balanced. The foot, I don't know if that's on purpose, but it feels like it's only on the tiptoe. If it's not on purpose, then I would try to put it flatter here. Those are the two things. But if you wanted to put on the tiptoe, then disregard what I just say. Yeah, I mean, only compliments on this one. Really, really great job. Let me know if you're in there, if you have more questions. But that's what I'm seeing right now. Let me see, you guys are pointing something. Beautiful. Cherry. Should have read. Cherry, are you with us in on the live? Because I see you posting some stuff in the community. Again, Cherry, if you can put more resolution to your images, it's going to help me. You're welcome, Victor. You're welcome. Keep it up. Looks very cool. Cherry, love these color thumbnails. Those are really cool. You know, they tell you exactly where we are, and your design is so well defined now. Super easy to read. Let me know if you're with us. I'm hoping you're with us. Um, yeah, so, okay, for this then, um, so we have a nice contrast here with the shape here. That's cool. I like that. Um, bet you're there. All right, cool, awesome. Very cool with the design here. I like that. I'm trying to think, is there a way? Is there a way? You saw my comment about the crown earlier, right? I'm not going to repeat that. Sorry about that. No reason to be sorry. It's all good. So she's grabbing her necklace. That's cool. I'm trying to see that very... So the shape that you decided there is almost like squarish more than angular. It is an angle, but it feels a little bit more robust and squarish. So, and you decide if that's on purpose, then it's fine. You decide obviously what you would prefer, but you have these very sharp edges like this on the side. And then this one feels kind of bulky, especially because you have like almost like you have a very thick contour here and all of that, where you could try to play with more like elegance within the shape. So you could keep these, like they're very nice. You could like almost like a different shape here like this. That's super cool. But then you could try to have like just more curves, like one curve there, and then something that's just a bit more pointy maybe, and then just a little bit more tiny on the side, just to bring a little bit more elegance. And then the gem here feels like it could be a little bit more elongated, or even just a different shape. Trying to see also the design of the crown, if there's parts that could be like repeated in both of those. And Beth, you're talking about this one where you're saying the new one, right? Oh no, there's a new one here. You are working fast, my dear. Copy that. Again, if you can put more resolution, that'd be super cool. So that's my comment about it. Just that shape feels a little bit bulky. I will try to have something a little bit more elegant. Try to have some repeat between the crown and this, so it feels like they're part of the same kind of like same design. And I think it's about just matching, probably like matching some of this. Like you have like some pointy stuff here with like even a bulky thing there. It's like something like that. And then you have that gem in the middle, so you could maybe add that here in the middle. Oopsie. Could have this. Whoops. Could have this. Maybe like you have like the beginning of something here. For the, maybe that's longer. If you want to keep that in there. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. And then you can use that for that instead maybe, and it would fit just a little bit better. But that's what I have to say. I see you're going to have maybe some patterns on there or some different tones. That will come with the coloring later. So when it comes to the design itself, that's pretty much what I have to say. Like I was saying at the beginning, I think the contrast here, and you have it here, you know, the contrast of the light, especially the dark hair with the pale fur, is going to help with the contrast there. So that's going to be a great way to attract the eyes towards the face. I'll definitely work on the scepter. I wasn't exactly happy with the scepter. All right, cool. Well, hopefully this helps. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing your work with me. We'll see each other again for our last Q&A tomorrow. For now, just keep pushing your design. Today, we're going to do coloring, and then we'll have the rest of the week to render. So still plenty of time to work together. Keep up the good work. Keep up posting. I'll be in the chat all day if you have any questions about anything. So don't be shy to put it in there. And yeah, for the rest, have a good day, have a good night wherever you are in the world. I'll talk to you during the class later on. Ciao, ciao, guys.